joined on by Philippe Houchois. He's head of European Autos Research at UBS. Thanks very much indeed for coming. From nothing to 100,000 cars by the end of 2013, that's a big ask. They don't have a great deal of brand identity. They are virtually no dealerships. Can they do it?
Yeah. Well, it's an explosive market, and that's what people count on. And I think the fear is to miss India as being the next China. And Renault wasn't particularly present in China, so they want to make sure, among many others, that they're there for the explosion of the market for cars that are bigger, more luxurious, and that's what they want to be present in.
Why have they left it maybe so late, do you think? You've already got VW, you've already got Toyota out there for many years.
I mean, the feeling is space for a lot of brands, possibly. But they tried early, Mahindra, as you mentioned, and the partnership didn't go very well.
That was the Logan, wasn't it?
That was the Logan, definitely. And that didn't go very well. They've given up some of the rights to the Logan in India, so now they're pushing with the Renault brand.
Because that was associated very much with taxes. I'm wondering whether the Renault brand could be tarnished in any way, and how to go into the market with more upscale vehicles.
Yeah. They've done a decent job of separating Dacia and Renault as a brand. I mean, we in the business know that the brands are linked. Consumers don't necessarily associate the two. So.
It's a very price-sensitive market, India. How will they price their cars? And notably, will they price the service elements of it, the financing elements of it?
Well, it's a price-sensitive market, definitely. But they're also aiming for the market that is growing, the middle class, etc. Financing is interesting because unlike China, where consumers do not want to go into debt for cars, the Indians have no such concerns. They're quite happy to do financing, so it'll be easier normally to provide financing than it has been elsewhere.
And is that the main difference between the market in China and India as far as Renault is concerned?
There are many, but it's a key one. It's a key one in many emerging markets, including Brazil. People go into debt for cars. In China, it's very, very difficult to actually convince consumers to go into debt for cars.
How important is this move into India for Renault globally?
It is important because the focus of Renault has been moving away from Europe and dilute the share of Europe. And they've done a very decent job. The big black missing market has been China, and they want to make sure. And they had a first start, which was a bit of a miss in India. But overall, they've done a very decent job of moving away from being a pure European company as they were years ago.
We were talking in the introduction about the management problems that Renault's had. Its CEO quit last month. I'm wondering whether it's really possible to have such lofty ambitions to get to where they want to be when you've got so much disruption in the boardroom, which is far from being ironed out.
Yeah, that is a big concern for Renault. Too many changes, not enough of a direction at the operating level, and so it's a valid concern in the market that Renault is doing too many things at the same time without having the proper management in place.
Are they doing it at the right time, in your opinion? Or is the prize so big, the Indian market, you know, for heaven's sake, you've left it this long, just get in there?
Yeah. I think, but in the overall scheme of things, it is not the priority at the same time. It's important for them, but it's not there. The uncertainty of the management is more critical in other areas, like the electric car, for example. And that's where the concerns of the market probably is.
I understand the FLUENCE will be assembled by kit form. Isn't it really the future will lie in sourcing everything from India, and the whole production process will come from India? Is that the big ambition? Is that what they need to do?
It will be the case. Also, most countries have import duties after a while, so initially you can certainly import cars. Kits, CKDs as we call them, are very common. That's not different from other strategies. But eventually most countries won't have local content, so they will have to produce locally. They know it and they're preparing for it.
And 5% car share by 2020, is that achievable?
It depends. Probably everybody's coming in. India is one of those odd markets where for a while, 80% of cars sold in India were Marutis. Now it's down to 50% or a bit less. And so it's very hard to know how market shares will shift. So it looks ambitious, but it's not unrealistic.
Okay, Philippe Houchois, thank you very much indeed for coming in.